friend. I want to teach you how to have your best abs from the inside out, from your core. And I have 3 very important tips that I'm going to give you that are going to work for you. Not just to have your best abs, like I say, but also to have your best health. And I consider these are really important and vital and so easy to implement starting now. All right, the first one is move your body from your core in a more natural way. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about abs. They're beyond the visible, or what most people are searching for, which are the 6-packs, okay? You can read it, I hope, okay? Yes, that means that it's beyond the rectus abdominis. It has obliques, internal, external, to do these, like external. These are the internal, but there's all kinds of combinations of movements. We can't separate them. And precisely the point is to have more natural movements in our daily activities. So if you like cooking, do something while you're doing that. Seriously, I teach you how to move in the kitchen. As you're gardening, it's really great because you're going to be squatting. When you're cleaning, you're going to be doing all sorts of movements that are really important, like deadlifts in a natural way. And to move more naturally means also to be able to walk and climb and hike and swim and bike, whatever it is that you love to do. Do more of those activities and just move around more wherever you are. If you're like me, an entrepreneur building a business from home, you probably need to be more active because we all sit down a little too much, don't we? We sit at the computer, on the phone, maybe even recording. I'm not moving that much, even though I have a heavy kettlebell here, you see? And this is a good example. It's kind of heavy, but I'll give you the example. Since it's here, nothing is a coincidence, you see? This super heavy kettlebell I use for kettlebell swings, and those are my favorite, let's say, seriously core activities to do, the kettlebell swings, because they work our whole body, and I'll teach you some of that in my future videos. But in this one, I definitely want to remind you of the fact that it's not just about isolating. Like I have some machines, I hardly ever use them because they isolate. It's like doing biceps. And even with the elastic tubes that I have here, elastic bands are called, or tubes, this is an example. As you can tell, I love fitness. I'm all about that. I'm a biologist and specialized in holistic nutrition, and now a life coach that wants to help you, an entrepreneur who is sitting down a little too much, to move around more and to be stretching, which is one of the most important activities. So I love elastic tubes for stretching like that. And I thought of these because, yes, you can do biceps, you could do specific exercises, and we're using latissimus dorsi, and that's why I want to also talk to you about the deepest muscles of our core. Okay, it's not just abs, it's not just the superficial. That's why I say from the inside out. And yes, maybe that's what you're looking for right now, just to look good, but you're going to feel so good when you follow these tips, because it's a matter of, yes, seriously moving around more as we clean. I got to clean some of this. And I love spiders. I love leaving them so they'll take care of the insects. And so I'll be reaching. This is an example, okay? So whether you use equipment or not, the idea is to really move your core. That doesn't just include what I talked about, but also your transversus abdominis. Like when you go, or when you laugh a lot. I think it's important to laugh every single day, and to dance, and to just be grateful, and so many things. And everything is combined. You see, I'm going to give you many tips within each one of the 3 most important recommendations, because the tip is, okay, get some equipment, get up from your desk, walk around, move around, use your cleaning experience as a way to get fit. Be conscious of your abs and engage them in all the activities that you do. Even when you're sitting, you can have great posture, you see? And that includes transversus abdominis, that includes the QL, quadratus lumborum. Sometimes I don't say the exact terms, but I'm gonna create a guide for you very soon so that you can see it all written down. And yes, there are so many other muscles like your erector spinae, which are their lower back muscles that are involved, your hip flexors, your adductors in in your whole movement from your center. And I love Pilates and yoga because precisely we work from the center. It's like we're gonna do a movement that apparently is just for the legs, you know, like when we're lying down, or if I could do something like standing up. Apparently I'm just standing up, but I could also work. Okay, I got these in my hands still. That's okay. I was going to give you an example of when we're isolating and when we are actually working our whole body. You see, this has an accessory that's to be used on doors so that you can basically have a whole machine. Even this, and most exercises are like very free and they involve everything. So when you're sitting at your desk, you are not lying on the back of your seat, no matter how fancy. It's like it's better to actually sit on a ball. That's one of the ideas that I give you as well. Maybe you've heard of it, but you haven't used it. You could have a standing desk as well, but just to be able to move more often. And let's say I do some basics that are, isolating, like working biceps here, right? I do some isolating ones, but guess what? Even when you're isolating your muscles, I'll show you triceps. Okay, even when I'm isolating the triceps by extending my elbow here, I am engaging my abs by keeping, for instance, my navel towards the spine, which is the way we say it in Pilates. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. You see? Awesome. I'm going to do the other side just for fun. As I tell you that, yes, we could have navel to spine. We could also have our shoulder blades together. So we have really good posture. Those are some of the pointers. Many more to come. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Oh, it feels so good. Yeah. Okay. So we are isolating, but we're also engaging our core. So you can use machines and you can use elastic tubes. You could use regular dumbbells. Do I have one right here? Of course I do. You see, you could use dumbbells, but not like a robot. It's like, nor sitting on those comfortable benches. No, don't be so comfortable. That's the idea. Just like in life, we've got to get out of our comfort zone or familiar zone, quote unquote. We've also got to get out of that familiar zone of just sitting and just, being on the couch. That's like default, right? So if I'm doing this, I've got to stabilize. And the stabilizer muscles are all in our core. That's the thing. And so they include the abs that I said, and also lower back, and also latissimus dorsi, which is, what we use when we do, for instance, this, or the pull down that I showed you with elastic tube, you see? And I could go on because there's so many ideas that I have within this important recommendation to just be moving, be more natural. And stretches, are most important than anything, because it seems like we don't have our best body, our best abs, because we are not moving in a natural way. And I believe that is beyond the gym. So if you're going to a gym, fantastic, but still do the movements the rest of the time, because even if you went to the gym 1 hour, and let's say you're looking fit, you're not really fit if you're not stretching your body, upper body, lower body, just your whole body from the core. So if you're squatting, you're still using your abs, you see? Yeah, let's see how we're doing on time, because I want to give you more examples of this. Okay, I got to move on to the next. Now you know to move your body, okay? That was number one. The more natural, the better. So I love gardening because it actually kind of forces us to squat. And I see that the people that sometimes help us, I'm lucky to have a person right now. He's way more in shape than anybody else in the family, because the whole time he's squatting, and I analyze the movements. It's like he's doing yoga practically, when he's pulling the weeds or whatever. So let's not underestimate the fitness of somebody who actually does the movements, okay? All right, number 2. Oh, yeah, why not? Actually, yeah, they're all important, okay? Eat more plant-based towards vegan. Okay, wait, let me get my glasses, make sure that you guys can read it. Oh, thank you so much, Dan, for this opportunity. All right, yes, you can read it. Awesome. I couldn't read it because the little screen is far away. No excuses. here I am again. More fiber. Where are you going to get fiber? Only from plants. There's no way around to it. Yes, I was reading some studies and journals and papers on the possibility that there may be some milk, some kind of milk that's human or from animals like cow milk that may have some of these fibers that can be used as prebiotics. But guess what? Most people who drink milk and dairy have terrible gastrointestinal tract. They have GI issues, okay? In other words, IBS and many things like inflammation, and that's what happens. Abs, it's not just to have less fat, very important, okay? And that's why exercise is so important, of course. And nutrition, and the last tip is super important. I mean, they're all important. Sometimes I'm like, okay, what's most? Well, these are my priorities for this video, and I hope they are your priorities to actually, yes, eat more plant-based towards vegan, because that's where it's at. That's where the fibers are. So there are some exceptions, and we could go on papers, and we could get in a controversial conversation, and you could have your opinion, of course. This is my professional opinion, but seriously, there's nowhere else to get fiber in our life than from plant sources. So you're going to find many articles and many blogs that look beautiful and tell you to eat what you're already eating, and they're going to tell you to eat animal foods, and that's okay, because everybody can decide what to do. Yet, seriously, the literature, and when you go deep into it, beyond any propaganda, beyond any authorities, or beyond any institutions that have interests that are not transparent nor integrous, in my opinion, of course. Anyway, I really look into that, because I used to just follow whatever, all the newsletters I got, I would just follow that like to a T. It's like, I'm going to recommend this pyramid and this pyramid because they come from the USDA and this and that, whose interests are, there is conflict of interest, okay? And even though most papers, most scientific papers say there's no conflict of interest, we really have to look into that. And there's pharmaceutical companies that want to make the prebiotics, so they'll tell you that you need to buy a prebiotic. You see, I'll tell you about that. Prebiotic, as its name says, it's before the biology. It's the food, it's the substrate. It's where our good bacteria, our lactic acid bacteria, feeds itself. And then we produce short chain fatty acids and just a great metabolism for our good bacteria to thrive. I want to have at least 100 trillion bacteria that are good. And we're talking mostly about lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, and other ones like enterobacteria. Yet, how to have more of them. And there's a lot of nutritionists and doctors who don't know too much about nutrition. That happens also. Yes, I have to be real. I have to be authentic, and I have to lay it all out, okay? You do your own research, and obviously you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you from the heart, from experience, and from my awakening, because I used to follow everybody, like I said, all these references and institutions, and I'm like, does this make sense? Does this really have science? And sometimes we can manipulate the science to provide evidence for what we want to prove. So maybe it's useless that I tell you that it's in science if you don't believe in the science that I'm referring to. You see, sometimes I start coaching myself even in my own presentation, right? Anyway, the point is that in order to have great abs that are not inflamed, where you don't have gas, you don't have bloating, you don't have fat, basically, that you don't need on your abs. I have some fat, and that's fine, because I like having some fat. And of course, we could talk about the exercise that I was referring to, and all sorts of exercise. We could say that the best combination to burn fat and have less fat on your abs is cardio with resistive exercise, and then the flexibility would have to go or wouldn't be so necessary. But I don't believe that anymore. I believe in just feeling our whole body and doing what is natural for us, to just be moving around and not be sitting all the time. So why do I mention this? Because of the fat, okay? So there's many factors that are involved or that are in this situation. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm like, Monica, so many ideas, and I got a little distracted. But right now, right in this moment, I can tell you, eat more fibers. Okay, so what are the fibers? In plant foods, that means fruits. Yes, let's eat more fruits. Yes, definitely. the soluble, the insoluble fiber, the fermentable and the non-fermentable fiber, they're all good for us, get it? And a lot of people are going to tell you not to eat that. A lot of people are going to tell you to eat whatever. And, you know, that's none of my business. So I'm going to focus on what I'm telling you to eat, or I'm suggesting. I want to offer ideas on what to eat. And definitely more fruits. How did you know that? More veggies. And definitely more of grains. Yes, there's some doctors out there telling people not to eat grains. Grains like legumes, like lentils, like chickpeas, like beans. They're super good for us for so many reasons, but mainly I'm talking about fiber right now. You see, so you get the best fibers from all that I told you, and seeds, and cereals that are whole. And yes, there's issues here and there. You got to find out where your food is coming from. I'm like, oh my God, what if the apple that I bought has been sprayed with some kind of pesticide? I'm like, oh dear. And so we are kind of bombarded with all this toxicity. And the only way to really do our best is to actually, I think, tune in with our gut. So this is about gut health, about having a healthy microbiota that comes from your food, basically. So let's feed our gut right. You see, when we feed it junk, when we feed it a lot of pesticides and just toxic stuff, and you know, refined sugars, refined anything, all the sweets and the candy we love, that's not very healthy. You already know that. In fact, I'm just reminding you of what you already inherently know. So don't think that I just want you to be vegan. You don't have to be vegan like I've been for 11 years. You see, you can just take it one time, or one step at a time, and one time that you start eating just plant foods, and you're going to feel so good, you're going to do it again. Like the Meatless Monday is a way to do that. Excuse me. I'm checking the time again. When I was on TV, it was funny. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm going to have to extend this a few more minutes because I'm not done. And yes, I need more time. So since I'm here, I'm going to add more time because I have something important to tell you about microbiota that's beyond what the bacteria eat, which is really fiber. Okay, so let's eat fiber here. We're going to cancel here. And we're going to add, how about 5 minutes, okay? I could add more, but 5 minutes is okay. I think I have space on the camera for this. All right, that's another issue, you see, but no excuses, zero excuses not to eat your plants, my friends. And it's so delicious because all the fruits, I mean, who doesn't love avocado? Okay, who doesn't love grapes? I mean, foods that we all enjoy. When I have reunions, I like to offer like tapenade, which is olives, and I love to combine brown rice. You see, that's a really easy way to get all the fiber in your practical nutrition. One is to make granola, like I've been making with whole oats, and then you could add some raisins to it, and you could add cinnamon and so many things. Coconut is awesome, as well as bananas, and so many ideas that I could give you, but you know, just what I prepared yesterday and what I was sharing on my TikTok, it was, yes, to add the peas, like green peas with the brown rice, and then I made a saute with lots of onion that has quercetin that's really good for your immunity, which is basically what happens in our gut. I mean, let me tell you something before I move on to the next vital recommendation, is that your immune system, most of it, like 70 to 80% of our immunity is coming from our gut bacteria, from our microbiota. What? Yeah, exactly what I just said. You can check the numbers. It's like, yeah, and so most people are not eating enough fiber. Everybody's like, protein, protein. No. We don't need more protein. We need more fiber. Okay, and I'm talking about getting at least 35, 40, and preferably 80 grams of fiber a day. You can do that if you start eating like me. I mean, not all at once. Like I said, like Meatless Monday, you start one day at a time, and then you go 2 days at a, and then you just, I did it because I wanted to. Just like I might say, okay, now I'm going to wake up at 7 in the morning. That hasn't happened yet, But, you know, it's like a decision. And I made a decision, no, I'm just going to go vegan. And I hadn't eaten meat. So there's many ways to go about it. And I like you to take it easy, but at the same time, be determined to improve your microbiome, because that's where your immunity is. And guess what? Very important for entrepreneurs. We want to be smart. We want to be sharp. And we can't rely on coffee. And that's why I'm going to the next one. But also tell you that there's a gut-brain axis. Okay, gut-brain, actually, gut microbiota brain axis that is fundamental. So if our bacteria are in the trillions and we have a great variety of fiber foods, 30 plants a week approximately. I don't get to that yet. I'm working on it. Anyway, we're all a work in progress. I'm going to move on, even though there's so much more I could tell you about this. But it's good for our mood to eat more fiber. Yes, precisely because of what I just told you. All right. And number 3, here I go. Ta-da! Guess what we have to do to have a great microbiota and vice versa. Great microbiota means we're going to sleep better. I just told you. Sleep, rest, recover, and listen to your gut. Yep. Sleep, rest, recover, and listen to your gut. Yes, I think you read it. Okay, I have my notes here. Yeah, no excuses. The thing is that most of us have been, because I use these to read, not to look far, so that's why I have my glasses on and off. And we possibly don't sleep as much as we could, okay? Like I said, I want to wake up at 7 in the morning, and I'm not doing that because I'm going to bed almost at 7 in the morning still. Anyway, I'm telling you about a bad habit that I have, but I know that what's natural when it comes to movement, I think what's natural when it comes to circadian rhythms, and as a biologist, I can tell you what's natural is waking up when there's light, like waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning when the sun comes up, okay, or whatever time it comes up in your area. And we don't necessarily have to go to sleep at 7 when there's no light, but definitely not the next 7. So sleep is super important. So even if you still sleep in the day, because you may have a job at night, okay, or it's your decision for whatever time, everything you get to decide, okay? And that's what I love about my coaches like Diane, and I get excuse me, and my own coaching. It's like, okay, Monica, take it easy, don't pressure yourself to get everything perfect, and I'm never going to be perfect, you see. So I can tell you, I'm really good at getting all the fiber, I'm really good at getting all the movement, I'm not really great at getting the sleep at the times that I would like, but even if you're sleeping at different times, just get your 8 hours, come on, 7 to 9 hours. I don't know how people can survive with 5 hours, and they think they're doing well. And I wonder if they could be healthier if they slept what they actually want and need. Most people, us, and that's science-backed as well, we need more sleep. So I need 8 hours and 20 minutes at least. That's what I've been monitoring. And I don't want to be sleep deprived like I was for years. And that was not good because it creates, this nervousness and this anxiety, this kind of like an overwhelm. Oh my goodness, really? Once again, okay, I'm going to give myself 5 more minutes, okay, because I got to do the one in Spanish, and I tend to talk a lot more in Spanish. I'm like, oh, how are we going to do this? But anyway, sleep more, sleep what you actually need, and that's going to make your abs be flatter, you see? I used to read that the models would sleep a lot, and I was like, oh, why do they sleep a lot? Well, maybe because they have a lot of time, a lot of money, or because they're lazy. But actually, I think sleeping, not just that I think, I know in my students, and in my case, that when I sleep more and my abs are flatter, they have no inflammation. Sometimes when your abs are like, what's going on? And it could be your period, it could be hormonal, and that's the thing. Even if you have hormonal issues, it's all relative, you could just recover. And since I talked about the brain, and we are entrepreneurs, and we want to do lots of things, right? And we want to move forward and try new things. It's like we've got to be sharp. And that sharpness comes from actually getting rid of that beta amylo, sometimes I forget the technical names, but toxins, okay? It's like we have a drainage system. Every time we sleep, we actually detox. Yeah, we detox everything. We get to not be thinking. We get to just relax our minds. And the amyloid, you can fill it in, and I'll definitely write it on the notes. That is a substance that I've been doing research on, because doctors maybe don't want you to know that you don't need to get Alzheimer's. Most of us don't need to get Alzheimer's if we're actually doing the right things. And I'm so sorry for all the people that I've known that got that. Cancel, cancel, cancel. But it's because one of the factors, of course, I don't have all the solutions, nor do I pretend to, but I'm pretty sure it's all because they weren't sleeping enough. They weren't sleeping well. And because they got all these medications. You see, I don't believe in medications. Now you know. It's my opinion in general. But then again, it's like, I'm not going to judge you because you're taking medications. I've taken lots of medications before. And I followed the medical system for many things. And trauma, like when I got bitten by a dog, I was at the clinic and it was trauma. So, you know, I thank all the doctors who have helped me in the past. But right now, seriously, I believe that for many reasons and factors, some or most are preventable. You can sleep all you need to sleep. And that's going to give you your best abs. You're going to actually have more energy. Therefore, your posture is going to be better. Therefore, you're going to feel like moving. Therefore, you're going to be like, yes, I'll try new things. I'll eat more greens. I'll eat more fruits. I'll eat more things that are really good for me. And you're going to have that energy to actually make the changes that you want to make for yourself and not default into some buffering and just eating what's there. That's what I've noticed about most of us. And I get migraine headaches when I don't sleep enough. Do you? So it's actually not good for us to not sleep. Sleep is super important. And I've got to go. I could go on about sleep. Sleep is the best to flush toxins out and to get your best abs. Okay, so there you have it. Now you know that sleeping is not just because you're tired. It's because you want to get healthier and you also want to look and feel better. And seriously, the 3 things that I told you, to eat and drink more plant-based, to move around more, and to sleep and recover, are so important. And finally, last but not least, is like, listen to your gut, because your gut knows it all. Here we have, it's like, seriously, our body tells us everything. Our body is our compass. And our body can tell us whether something is right for us or not right for us, you see? And our body also tells us when something is clicking for us in our areas of personal, business, you know, so let's listen to our gut. Our gut knows it all. All right, I hope you have great abs and I can help you, and there's a guide, and this is just the beginning of our journey. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you, Diane, for the opportunity. And I'm gonna, give you many more tips. If you want to get your consult, just reach out, DM me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what to do. Abs in, and use your core, and definitely get your Z's. Thank you. Cheers. I like to do my ta-da. All right, till next time.